Hey, welcome everyone. Thanks for hopping on. We're going to be talking Facebook today specifically, but a little bit more about retention strategies using social media. So this should be pretty fun dialogue and discussion. I got
Yeah.
Keith with me getting ready to drop some dimes of knowledge. So, we're excited to go. Excited to go. From sunny,
Yes.
you said Austin is a little hot right now, huh?
Yeah. I'm in Austin, Texas, where we built out our whole office and strategies and really started honing in on dealerships here. And so Austin's the home base. But we're on the map. We got an airport that takes us everywhere now.
That's true. And you got to keep it weird though. So isn't that what they say? Keep Austin.
Yes, it's getting less weird and more normal. I don't even know, but yes, we've had a lot of change here with just so many companies moving to Austin. And, it's not even just like all the big companies, the Amazons and Dell and Facebook and Google, but it's like tons of small businesses. It's like a cool small business mecca now.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. We're going to hop in on this. I know their time is pretty valuable, so we'll keep going. I'm just going to give a couple housekeeping items before we start. We're using Zoom for this. So if you haven't used Zoom, you're one of the few people that haven't used Zoom. You hover over the screen and you'll see that there's a bar at the bottom that pops up, and there's a chat function. And we'll be using chat to answer a lot of questions. If you ask a question in Q&A, we'll get to it. But predominantly feel free to use chat to ask those questions, and you probably are going to have some as you go through. So this recording is going to be sent out to everyone who registered for this webinar. So if you missed something or you're trying to do 3 things at the same time, you will be able to get a copy of this and watch it again. Kind of capture some of these cool insights that we're going to talk about. So without further ado, I'm turning it over to you, Keith. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little about yourself?
Okay. I'm Andrew Street. Keith is the business partner.
You got Keith on your thing. I'm so sorry, man.
Does it really say Keith?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Huh.
I thought it was Andrew, and then I saw the thing. I'm like, Keith. Okay, well, let's roll with Keith. So I guess for today, for the next 45 minutes, you're gonna be Keith.
Okay, it works with me. He can field all the heat afterwards.
That's right.
So to preface, like, if you guys are looking to dramatically increase your dealer or your client's dealerships profitability through loyalty, you're in the right place. I'm going to be a good steward of your time here because I know it's valuable, but we've discovered a lot of ways to really help unlock dealers' CRMs, and especially as they're investing more into CDPs, on how to really dip into that and be very prescriptive with really micro audiences. And it's going to dramatically move the needle on customer retention, customer referrals. So I'll jump in and just quickly, I really want to hear like who all is listening to the call right now, and get a feel for where you guys are with your loyalty programs, because it increases profitability dramatically. According to JD Power, 25 to 85% growth in profits just by getting customers to come back. So could you run the poll real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Bart, and we can see. So do you have a social strategy for retention right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Feel free to fill that sucker out.
And I'm going to get into what it looks like, what 90% of dealers are doing, and then ways to really get into the retention strategy.
It's pretty even right now. Just wait a couple more seconds and make sure everybody gets a chance to just chime in here. Do you have a social strategy for retention? Okay, the polls are closing, Andrew.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, no, and that's super common. And then what we feel like we have a lot of dealers who felt like they had a really good strategy in place for retention because they have the CDP. But what we found is that not a lot of dealers are able to really act on it easily, unless they have a beefed up BDC or they have a team that's really able to execute on the audiences that the CDP is able to pull up. And so here's what we've found, and this is agnostic for any DMS, any CRM to be able to start launching a lot of these strategies. Quick intro to me. I'm not Keith. My name is Andrew Street. My whole passion in my career has been design and marketing and strategy, all in traditional media until like 2009 and 10. I started working heavily in digital for Facebook as they rolled out their ad platform. And so my job with Facebook was to help small businesses leverage Facebook advertising's platform that had so much data and so measurable. And brings me to now, I own a company called Dealer OMG. It's a tech-enabled marketing firm that is really hell-bent, inch wide, mile deep across paid social and eliminating cookie cutter ads. Like, our job is to eradicate cookie cutter ads. And we've gotten all kinds of awards and recognition for our work in the space. So here is, I think, a big misconception. And this is going really back to the foundation of how people target through digital media in general. And this could be OTT, this could be Facebook, Google Display Network, TikTok, Snapchat, any platform of using the platform's data. So this is an instance with Meta, with Facebook and Instagram primarily, on how they can target me. Like, Facebook knows who I am, my spouse's name, my family, my age, gender, my interests, my life events, my career, where I work, where I currently work. And that's a way to narrow me down from whatever it is, the 3 billion people that are on Facebook monthly, down to a smaller set of people that are a good fit for a dealership because of these things. Okay, let's put an ad in front of Andrew because he's in town, he's got a family here, maybe safety is important to him. But layer that in. Okay, well, what happened with Facebook data is, I think it was 2019, they had anything that has to do with housing, employment, or credit gets scrutinized to where we can't use any of Facebook's data to target. So now everybody can just target a big 15-mile radius around a point. So typically what dealers would be able to do is just put a point on their dealership and then have a 15-mile radius and carpet bomb everybody in there. And so hypothetically, let's say that's 1 million people that are on Facebook and Instagram that we would just be blanketing with our ads because of a Facebook lawsuit. So now that's great. So what's happened is, like, that's an opportunity for our dealerships to be able to stand out by being able to target, by being able to eliminate cookie cutter ads that are just carpet bombing the market, and being a lot more prescriptive by pulling in third-party data. That's your IHS, that's your TransUnion, that's, a lot of data sources that can pump in insurance data about what vehicles people drive, TransUnion data telling me what credit scores people have, their household incomes, their net wealth. So now, instead of us blanketing the 1 million people, we just narrowed that down to 100,000 people, where we can start to cater to people that are a better fit for our dealership. Maybe they currently drive an older model of the vehicles that we sell, and we'd like them to start doing services with us. Or we'd like them to come in and do a free appraisal or a 5-minute appraisal. So this is where you're able to pull in data and then ingest it or pump it into Facebook, Instagram, Google Display Network, Amazon, a lot of the digital media providers, to start narrowing down the big broadcast of audiences that you're targeting. But the purpose of our conversation today is where I think, and we've discovered, and we're confident that this is where everybody's advertising needs to start, and then we grow it, is going to be your data. This is the most cost-effective data set that you can possibly use, and it's free because you own it. So this is where we took it from the 1 million people. Now we're down to 5,000 people, hypothetically, who are in your database, and we know so much about them because maybe that could even include your website data. They came to your website, they started filling out a credit app, and they've abandoned that credit app. So that's great information. Let's get them to start the credit app again, or let's give them, different ways for them to start the conversation with our store. Maybe it's Messenger if they didn't like to do they didn't want to do the credit app. Or your data can help us see that people just purchased a vehicle from us. That's good to know. Now we're going to give that person potentially a different message than carousel ads that you've been running that show all your inventory. We're not going to show them the OEM incentives. Let's start to cater that customer in a different way because they've already purchased. Or maybe somebody's purchased and they're not doing routine services. So this is the place to start and build out your strategy with your own data, and then start looking at, okay, we have enough budget to start doing conquest and really start to do more fixed ops focus and pull in people who are driving our nameplates out there, which I'll touch on just a little bit. But the focus of this is going to be how to own your customer database, just using your CRM. And simply, you don't even need a CDP to do this, but it's just a little bit more cumbersome. So what everybody is running right now, and I've talked to thousands of dealers now, and what their value proposition is, why people come shop with them, it is not, they never say it's because of my inventory and because of my price. But that's what every dealership is running right now because it's easy, it's automated. These carousel ads that just show your vehicles and your price, your vehicles and your price. And I know you would go insane if a salesperson on your lot was just saying, hey, would you like this car? It's $40,000. Would you like that car? It's $45,000. Would you like this car? That's exactly what we're doing with our advertising. And we can bring that poll up right now. But my goal right now is to push you in this direction. Instead of blanketing these million people with the same carousel ads that every dealership's running, is to get something that's, okay, this person drives this 911. Let's get in front of these 5,000 people to get them into the newer one with some pretty assets from the dealership or some OEM incentives. Okay, so we've got a strategy or a poll right now. Does your strategy involve more than carousel ads right now on paid social?
We've struck like the middle ground of everything on these two polls. Like we're 50-50 split on just about.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. I would keep
maybe
it
this
for a
is
couple
good.
more seconds. If anybody else wants to answer, but yeah, it's kind of straight across.
Well, Bart, I hope that means we're asking the right questions.
Yeah.
And hopefully,
I hope
yeah,
so.
cool. Cool. A lot of people are running more than just carousel ads, which is great. So this is a way so hopefully this conversation is going to help you come up with more ideas to pile on top of what you're currently doing outside of carousel ads, while highlighting exactly where carousel ads should fit into your strategy and to your marketing budgets. And so just so we're all speaking the same language here, this is the carousel ad. This is automotive inventory ads, AIA, where it's just pooling your inventory feeds and your pricing. Okay, according to the Harvard Business Review, which is smart, is like acquiring a new customer is about 25 times as expensive as retaining an existing one. And I've heard it 20 times and 25 times. But the point is for us to really focus on getting our own customers to come back instead of constantly trying to get new customers. We're always going to have a strategy for getting new customers, but to really improve our strategy for getting our customers to refer new people, to come back for routine services, for parts, to come in for their trade-in, and to purchase their next vehicle with us. And it starts with having a timeline. And we've done this for a lot of years. And what we've found is having an actual strategy that you can deploy and have a lot of this as automated as possible, to where once somebody purchases, we have them. And we're always going to be running an ad campaign to them. if it's SMS or email or direct mail. But this is, I mean, paid social is going to be the focus of this, but we always want to be advertising to our own customer database. We're not advertising the dealership anymore. They know who we are. They know who we are. But let's cater to who they are and what their relationship is to the store. So as soon as somebody purchases a vehicle, I want to stop advertising the incentives that they're no longer going to get because they've already purchased their car. I don't want to advertise more of my cars to them. I want to start right here. So this is right after they purchase, in the first 3 months, the first 90 days, especially if I have an ad going through their feed, through their stories, through their reels, I just wanted to say thank you. And I'll show you how this looks in a minute, but I just want an ad that says thank you. And we can talk about how our dealership employs the community, the philanthropic stuff we do, and then start to potentially ask for referrals. Like we've done a lot of this, especially like it works really well with sort of more of a like a subprime type of store, or special for incentives for customers to introduce their friends. And if their friend purchases, there's a spiff. And then within the first year, we absolutely need to start getting in front of them with the parts, especially like, you picked up the truck. Let's start introducing the spray and bed liner, what the difference is, services, especially if somebody's purchased from us, they still live in the city that we're in, but they're not doing routine services. We should be going ham on getting them back into the service department. And then towards 2 years, then 5 years and beyond, it's getting that trade in, trade up. Here's the newer model. Here's the pre-orders, customize your vehicle now, and then buyback. And I'll show you what this looks like, but there's a smart approach to doing buyback and trades that we've discovered that works way better than we buy cars. So starting off with this, the loyalty tech calendar that we launched with all of our clients, it's this type of message that just says thank you. Thank you for purchasing. It goes through Facebook, it goes through Instagram, it goes through Pinterest, it goes through Amazon Display Network, but just a way to say thanks. And sometimes we have messages that the general manager is able to put together on a video, just saying thanks. And it's not selling them on the next thing or asking for a referral necessarily. It's just saying thanks and that we care about our customers. And what we see with this too is it's such a small audience. You sell, if you're a big store, maybe you're doing 500 cars a month. So that's going to be 1,500 people over 90 days. And if it's a $10 cost per thousand, that's $150 to reach them 10 times. We don't need to do that. So we'll spend $70 on a campaign like that per month. And it's the smallest spend, but has the greatest impact. And I don't care about leads. I don't care about clicks. I don't care about click-through rates or anything. I just want people to see it and see that we care about the customers. Then we can get into things like this with, hey, refer a friend. Here's opportunities for your friends and for your neighbors to come in. And this is according to a presentation from Meta. And I've seen this much higher and a little bit lower, but an average of 29% of buyers are returning to the dealership for routine services on average, which I think is insanely low. But we have a poll here about if people have a kind of a finger on the pulse of what their retention rate is from sales going into the service department.
Okay.
Bart, bringing it up. Thanks.
What is your current retention number? Is it greater than 50% or less than 50%?
And I'm going to update it with this stat too, because I feel like this is more accurate. If we're talking to dealers, you can tell us all of their,
it's kind of
this will be our
right?
empirical data.
We'll let it run for a couple more seconds. 15 more seconds. So you still have time to chime in. Is your current retention number greater than 50%? Okay, here you go.
So it looks like it's leaning a little bit towards no, which is tough. It's so tough. Like, I get it. And there's so many mom and pops, and staffing at the in the service department has been tough, and techs are in high demand. One thing I didn't put in this slideshow that we're doing that has been helping to move the needle is doing recruiting through paid social, where you can upload a list of people who are trade school graduates and just have a big ad that talks about the signing bonus and the benefits and the air conditioning in your service bays. And we've seen a lot of people start to share that type of message. Maybe if we're not getting the right person, they start to share that with the next person. So it's a good way to start getting staffing. But then what we're going to talk about right now is just like a way to help make an impact on that number. And it's really cool to see how many dealers really have a barometer for where they are with retention. And so when we launch strategies like this, it's pretty easy for us to track the ROs and all those things. But at the end, it's what percent, where are we right now? And then let's look at that in 90 days. Have we started to make an impact? And let's try to slide that above 50%. And here's a way that we've started introducing parts and services. So services, it's easy to like continually have, like we have automation for when people's services are due that pumps into our system for being able to make sure that we're advertising to these relatively small audiences at the right time when they have services due, or at least introducing the service department within the first year after somebody purchases. Have video ads that are the service manager and maybe some of the techs doing the video walk around of the vehicle of what they can expect when they come in. And here's the barista, or here's the lounge area where we have private pods for doing co-working kind of deal. And it makes an impact. And again, these aren't huge audiences we're targeting. It's just your customer database. So as far as the media spend, it's really affordable. It's going to be under $100 still for this type of campaign per month, with the exception of here's where I'm going to go a little bit outside of loyalty. But when we're doing stuff like parts, especially, it's you bought the F-150. We're doing a special the whole month of August for spray and bed liners. We have 100 offers available so people can start claiming an offer. And this, the purpose here is do everything that we can from our desk as an advertiser for what the dealer needs at their store. But something we can do is like, let's focus, let's agree to increase the lifetime value of our customers beyond just the sale. Let's look for the retention. But now a play here is not just targeting everybody who purchased the F-150 from a dealer to come in and do the spray and bed liner. But since we have more advertising budget that's being spent in less smart, being spent in dumber ways, let's go after everybody else who drives an F-150 in our market. That's, say, maybe in the last 5 years, like they purchased in the last 5 years. Let's advertise to everybody driving F-150s that didn't buy from us, and have this be the mechanism to get them introduced to our store. Have this be the way that they meet our service advisors. They come into the parts department. They see our inventory. They get into our database. They know where our store is located through parts. Like, this is a cool way, in my experience, for us to be able to do conquesting outside of just running inventory ads to everybody. This is something saying, I know what you drive. We've got a product that's going to make it better. Come through, and now we're going to, set up an appointment for the dealer. And then an NADA stat. I'm not going to throw too many stats at you guys, but I think this helps reinforce why and how this is so important. Is just that 86% of people that are retained, that come back for routine services and parts, are going to purchase from the dealership again. So, and now it's a way for us to look at not just doing parts, services, thank yous, referrals, but let's start ushering them through their funnel and through the journey of owning their vehicle into getting their next vehicle with us. And that's where we beef up the loyalty after 2 years. And what we've found that really resonates with people is calling them out for what's in their garage. So this is like a pre-order ad for 4 dealers, and it's trade in, trade up, customize your vehicle right now. And it's really trackable through a lot of the pre-order systems too, which is great. But putting the new truck in front of the truck owners, putting the new Explorers, Expeditions, SUVs in front of people based on what they're already driving. And what we see is it's not the dealer saying, pre-order, trade and trade up, but it's here's your newer vehicle. Here's some of the incentives. Here's why you should, consider this new vehicle with some of the features. But it's giving them a relevant ad coming through their stories and feed because it's the vehicle that they already drive, but newer from a dealership they already bought from. And what we found is this dramatically drives down our cost per pre-order. So given the same budgets that we would have, all of a sudden, instead of getting 60 pre-orders that month, we're seeing 300 pre-orders come through. And so this is going to this changes the landscape from us just being a mouthpiece of an advertiser to being very tailored to what the customer's relationship is with the store and with the car that they bought. And then this pertains to, and the same with what we just talked about here. There's a cool conquest opportunity here as well, where we're maybe conquesting from other manufacturers, but especially getting people who didn't buy from us, but who drive our nameplates. Here's a way to start going in front of people who are driving older model F-150s with the new F-150s and starting to get people into the pre-order here. And same with this. Like when I want to start doing our inventory ads, like the automotive inventory ads that we talked about, here's a way for us to be able to pull in our relevant inventory, but take up more space in people's feeds. Because I mentioned a minute ago, my background was like traditional media, doing design, doing strategy. And it's really similar to like billboards. Like when somebody's going through and discovering your ad, it's not, there's like search and discovery. Social is very much discovery. You're not on there to find a vehicle. You're typically on there just to kill a little bit of time while you're waiting for something, or you're in bed, or a million different reasons you're killing time on social media. But it's a cool opportunity for us to say, because of who you are, your net wealth, what you drive, all these characteristics, we think you're a good fit, especially because maybe you purchased from us in the past. And now we have the newer inventory in front of you with some asset that could be maybe something cool that our advertiser put together, or something cool that the dealership was able to do, or the OEM has a great asset that, we can clip out why the newer models of the 911 are better than the older ones, to really take up and stop people's thumbs. Like it's similar to like with billboards, you're going 60 miles an hour past the vehicle or past the billboard. And if it's not really clear or relevant and easy to read and easy to digest, you're going to keep scrolling. And if we have something that stops them in their tracks, that's it. Like we need to be able to have a message that resonates with a customer or prospective customer to stop them. And if they don't care, they'll keep scrolling and whatever. We'll pay a penny to reach them. But to have really good creative is going to stop people and have our dealership stand out from everybody in our market who's running the same carousel ads.
We got a question that just came in, Andrew. This might be a good time to answer it.
Hit me.
From Addison, asks, how do you get the customer data from the CRM into a formatter system you can use to market on social media?
There's a few different ways. There's a handful of CDPs that hopefully have API'd, and you can just bridge the gap between your CRM and these platforms as seamlessly as possible. And it's going to require you to filter within the CDP down to the appropriate audiences. we have one called Vinamp that we use that we built out that just ingests all the third-party data, which is, you know, your credit score, the vehicle you drive, but then also ingests DMS data, you know, where you are in your payments, all that stuff. So we can start creating audiences and then based on that, ship it out, pump it into the advertising platforms. If you don't have those products yet, or just don't have them, you can export them as CSVs and then format it the right way. There's easy tutorials on YouTube and things. And then you can import, or you can upload that customer list. And it needs to be about at least 200 people. Upload that customer list into Meta, and then it'll cross-reference all those people on the spreadsheet with their profiles based on their email address, their first name, last name, address, and then Facebook can make an audience out of that. That's a good question.
Yeah.
And I think something that's really commonly done is people will just upload their entire customer list, and then they want to try to like create a lookalike audience of them to try to target people like them instead of just targeting those people. Even if you're uploading that whole list and just branding to those people, it's impactful. Like they'll continue to see you coming through their feeds, and it's not an encroaching way to be able to communicate with somebody. Like, you know, if you're calling them or SMS. Okay, I talked about it a minute ago, and this is the way to acquire vehicles. And I know I'm not wrong because we've been doing it for a long time, but it's not just to say we're buying cars, because everybody's buying cars. And so many dealers I work with, I talk to them about the vehicles we're going to go after. They're like, we'll take anything. And I know, but I want customers to know that we want their car. So this is a way for us just to use a tiny bit of information, whether it's from our DMS, our CRM, or a consumer warehouse. Like we're doing this with our, like I get this. This is an ad I just screenshotted that came through my feed from one of our customers asking me what my Audi's worth, because I drive an Audi. And it stands out to me because like, okay, what is it worth? I'm curious. And now you tap on that and you're going through the trade-in tools and getting a value for your vehicle quickly. And the idea is like just thinking about not we buy cars, but we're stocking the lot with Audis. And it's a cool way for the advertisers to hopefully have a finger on the pulse of what your dealership's inventory levels and the market looks like, and be able to provide some insights to what they can do to help. Instead of, hey, it's the third of the month, what do you want to do this month? What are the incentives? But hey, I see that you guys are really short on pickup trucks. This month, I'm going to take some of what we were doing to push Tundras and Tacomas last month. I want to put that towards an acquisition campaign, going after all the people who purchased from you guys over 3 years ago that purchased a Tundra and Tacoma. And the ad's going to say, we're aggressively buying Toyota trucks right now during the whole month of August. Come in for your 5-minute appraisal. Your vehicle's maybe never been worth more, blah, blah, blah. But that type of message stops people in their tracks because we're calling them out for the vehicle they drive and letting them know that we're eager to buy it. Now they have an opportunity to be like, okay, if we're going to sell it, it's going to be next month. Like we got to, if we're going to sell this truck, let's go in there and do it next month. And it's also a way for the advertiser to get on the same side of the desk with the dealer and help provide that strategy. I think it's far too often that we're like, here's the cost per click and the click-through rate and the time on site and blah, blah, blah. Instead of, here's the strategy I think we should be doing this month based on what I'm seeing from your store and what worked well last month. But what your store looks like it needs right now is this, this, and this. Am I wrong? And then the dealer can say, yes, actually, we need to focus on hitting our quota for whatever. That's where the pushback can come in. But here's a way for, you know, the advertiser to really help with what the dealership needs. I'm not going to get too into this. Pre-owned vehicles is where automotive inventory ads dominates, and do a lot of placement. Like we're finding a lot of success doing placement within like Facebook Marketplace, where I think a lot of people just don't realize it's an ad, and we start messages from a lot of the automotive inventory ads right here, and it converts. Like they convert and they're cheap. Like, and that's why I think a lot of people are running them, is just because it's automated. And this is not like, I think a big mistake that advertisers do is our brains just want to tinker and improve things and pump in data, where this is like, you just set these and forget them. Like, don't touch them for at least 90 days, because Facebook knows who's in market, because they've got everybody's websites pixeled. They know who engages with it. So if you optimize it for messages, it's going to go to people who typically like to use Facebook Messenger, who are probably shopping for a vehicle right now. And the more you mess with it, the more it breaks it. So this should be a part of your strategy always, but it should be a small percentage, much less than 50% of your spend should be in here. And this is, you can drive your cheap vehicle detail page views, your cheap leads, your retargeting based on what people are looking at, and start a lot of, digital engagements through automotive inventory ads. So I'm not poo-pooing them. I just think having this be your only strategy makes you completely just part of the herd, and it's just a race to the bottom and trying to spend more than the other people. Branding, I put this at the very end because a lot of times this is like the least sexy thing for a general manager to sink their teeth into, because this doesn't generate sales today. This generates sales next month and all the months after that. And nobody's doing this right. Like, nobody's doing this very well, because it's hard. It's hard. It takes thought. It takes creative, and according to Adam Povkov, who's a friend who's like the former head of auto for Meta, they just look at who's running ads. All the auto dealerships, 4% of dealers are running anything that has to do with branding. It's all direct response. And I'll tell you, 9% of people that get on Facebook's platforms click ads. So 91% of people who get on Facebook and Instagram don't click ads. And we're putting all of our eggs into this 9% basket, which is cool. And that's transactional stuff that we can do in there. Everybody else, I want them to see our ad at least. And we can do offline abilities to figure out if they're coming into the store. But to have a big ad like this one that this lady is holding, this is done with Midjourney. So we're doing a lot more with ChatGPT and Jasper and Midjourney. And Midjourney is generative AI that takes text and turns it into an image. And what it's unlocked for us is the ability to do these 9:16 aspect ratios, which doesn't mean much to people who aren't designers, but advertisers and photographers and dealers and OEMs, they're historically not doing imagery or videos in this aspect ratio that works for stories and reels and all these placements that dealers need to be advertising. But it's hard to, because we don't have anything shot like this. Everything's shot in landscape or in a square. But with Midjourney, you can just say, give me a 2023 BMW X5 during sunset, photorealistic 4K with a mother and her children out front during sunset, and make the aspect ratio 9:16. And then within 30 seconds, it kicked this out. And it's great. And it works. And it's OEM compliant. And now our designers, their job is to become really good at doing prompts. Be a prompt engineer who knows how to put in the right terms to kick out that creative. So it's like a sandwich where you're the bread up here and you come up with that prompt, the meat and cheese does all this amazing creative. And then you're the bread at the bottom that knows how to edit and fact check and publish and potentially drag a dealer plate onto this that has your logo on it. And then have a beautiful co-op compliant, unique design that 0 dealers in the entire planet are running. Now you have the best creative that's formatted for an ad type that nobody else is tapping into because they can't. I think here's a huge opportunity, and it just takes a percentage of your budget to really get out there and then understand that you're going to get reach and frequency is all you want. I don't want leads. It'd be amazing if somebody came through this and filled out a lead form, but I want people to know about my dealership, and I want them to have a feeling about my dealership. That's branding. I show you this just in case, like, I imagine a lot of people that are watching this are in the weeds running paid social campaigns. And a lot of them you look at and it's just one ad. It's one ad with one audience that was made 6 months ago. And that's checking the box for doing paid social. Where I want you to consider making your advertising drive a lot more profitability by this type of things. Like, so here's campaigns that we're currently running. It's okay. We've got a trade-in ad for people that are probably like for people who are driving Fords, letting them know we want to buy their Ford. Maybe they bought from us. And this video walks through the process on their phone, how to do this, because 99 to 100% of people who are seeing this ad on Facebook and Instagram are going to see it on their mobile phone. So have that be super mobile friendly. And if it's not, then go through a different portal, do a different method for them to communicate with us. But this video just shows, I wish I could play it, but there's it goes through how to select your vehicle and how quickly it can spit out your valuation. We've got service coupons to everybody who's bought from us, who's not doing routine services, as well as everybody in the market who drives our nameplates. We've got 5-star reviews that are customer reviews going to everybody who's come to the website, credit score targeting, testimonials. So these are all different people seeing these ads based on who they are. You've come to the service department. You've started filling out our form to schedule an appointment. You've abandoned it. Cool. So that's our service retargeting. More trade-ins. People's leases are expiring. You're in positive equity on the vehicle. So these are all cool indicators for us to have a really simple creative that is relevant to the customer besides our inventory. And what we see too is, like, a lot of times we'll see like spouses share these messages with their spouse, which is great because they're like the ones that maybe drive the car but aren't on the we have their spouse's contact information. We don't need to get, I don't need to read all this, but I want to just stress that this is what a strategy should look like. It's not, hey, let's check the box on these platforms and just assume that business is going to go great, but have consideration for the customer's, journey with the thank you and what we want from the thank you. I don't want leads. I want impressions. So let's optimize for impressions and agree with the advertiser and with the dealer that impressions is what we're going to look at with that campaign. And then for referrals, this is where we want to see lead forms come in. We want to see shares. We'd love to see shares. And then we want to see those hard conversions. These are kind of soft conversions with just impressions, but hard conversions where we want to measure phone calls. We want to see messages. And for parts, that's where we want to see people claim offers or go through the website and convert. Same with services. You can track the ROs. So this is just a way for us to agree internally with my marketing team. Here's all the promos we're running, and here's what we want to measure. So if one of the things, like if something's way out of whack, it's not, hey, we're not getting any leads from this $40 thank you campaign. It's like, cool. Like they already bought from us. Let's not worry about leads there. Let's keep doing it. And we'll isolate that from what we want to see with these hard conversions. And then the way that we do it, and there's ways to export it from your own CRM. We have a platform called Vinamp that pulls in, it does audience building and customer building is the real crux of it. And that's that's pulling in consumer data warehouses information of, here's the 9,000 people who drive Tacomas and Tundras within a 5-mile radius of your dealership. And then the first party data, that's where we're going to be able to pull in all the customer information that you have to be able to combine that with the third party, or to be able to just launch that loyalty calendar, just to automate the ability for us to start walking customers through everything we want them to do to continue to participate and continue to engage with our dealership. And then the activation side, that's where we're able to use this for measurement, but where our team here is all the advertisers are able to activate. And so everything we do really like stems on education. And this is us at Facebook's headquarters in Austin, talking to a bunch of dealers and the automotive team about what we've found. And I hope you took some notes. I hope this was helpful, but I think DrivingSales is sending out a PDF that's kind of like a guide on how to get started with this. Or if you're watching this separately, or if you want to just download the guide, we have a resource for you. It's at dealeromg.com/loyalty. I'm Andrew Street. I'm the founder. And I hope this has been kind of insightful. I hope you're able to take something from this and turn around and be able to do it.
I was expecting you to drop your mic. That's why I was waiting for the big mic drop right there.
It's like it's screwed in.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a couple questions for you. One is kind of tangential, but we're talking Meta.
Right.
And I know Threads is something that's getting a lot of buzz right now. How do you envision Threads would fit into this Meta ecosystem and provide more opportunities for some marketing?
What the early data is showing that it's got a fast adoption rate. And it's because you're able to use your Instagram account to quickly log in without making a new profile. And you're able to import the people you follow there to be able to start following them on Threads. And then, I've never had a lot of success with, it's a copy of Twitter, but I've never had much success at all using Twitter's ad platform. It doesn't have the same types of ads or the same targeting capabilities unless you're pumping in your own data. But with Threads, hopefully it's going to pull, even more people. Know it or not, Meta is still growing. And with the introduction of Threads, I think we'll probably see it get more adoption, get new people that haven't started doing microblogging like Twitter start to do it, and bring more, maybe some folks that were in Twitter who don't like the landscape of Twitter back over to Meta's platform, where we can, get more of their data and have new attractive ad units that are going to start being able to be placed in Threads. And that's going to be a cool opportunity for us as dealerships to be the first ones there. As soon as those ad platform, as soon as they roll out, ad units within Threads, let's be dealer number 001 to have our inventory, to have our messages there. I think that that's the kind of stuff that I think is amazing. Like when there's new stuff that comes out, or there's terrible news that disrupts the way we're able to target or way we're able to measure, it's like a cool opportunity as a dealer for us to be able to be ahead of it and be ready, where we're going to be the dealer that's there, or we're going to be the dealer that's still able to target when everybody else can't.
Yeah. How should a dealer use this to help augment or support a strong Google search strategy? Is there tie-in here, do you see, or are we talking about two separate ad spends, two separate strategies to be rolled out?
We've seen a lot of budgets historically over the last 7-8 years that have come from paid search into paid social. And as Facebook's done a dramatic shift from having their automotive facing team, they still have they're building more automotive products, but a lot of the team's been disbanded. But the marketing platform is still the most cost-effective form of marketing. And then from Google to Facebook, it's a great yin and yang, because Google is heavily search intent. So you're either searching or discovering. And on Google's platforms outside of the display network, you're searching. So that's where you're on Google search, you're on YouTube, and you're pecking in specific things that lead us as an advertiser to say, okay, let's start bidding for those keywords, because they're looking for something that we have. Where the social side is discovery, you're not on there to find you're not there to find a new dealership. But because you just moved to town and you drive a Toyota, but you didn't buy from my Toyota store, we're going to start introducing the Toyota store. And I think ways that they really couple well together is to make sure that the data flowing and especially just the customers that come from organic search and paid search and direct and from and from Google Business Profile, they all come to the website and they all go through a journey on the website that the pixel and that what Facebook's able to measure is that traffic. So if they go through from search and then they end up abandoning a credit app for a Tundra, we know it. And then the meta ads are able to start delivering to get somebody back into that credit app, even though they started their journey over here, but have it coupled where they all fall into the same retargeting pools.
Very cool. Well, Andrew, aka Keith, we appreciate this. This has been great. I like a fresh approach. I like all the different ways that you've given these dealers to jump in and play around with this. And once again, if you have questions, you can email us. You can we'll get you connected with the guys at Dealer OMG. So I'm sure you will. I'm sure that
yeah. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, getting more active. Or you can email me. It's just andrew@dealeromg.com.
Okay. And we'll get this in everybody's inbox as well as the guide. Andrew, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing.
Bart, it was a joy.
And and we hope to see you and everybody on future broadcasts. Thanks a lot.
Sweet. It was good to see you, my friend.
See ya.